in the kitchen and he brings out a plate of the, like, let's say you order chicken and chips or something, right? The chef goes out, the waiter goes out and he brings you a plate of chicken and chips, but somebody's already half eaten your dinner. Would you want to eat that? You'd be like, hang on a minute, no, this ain't fresh, man.
Right.
Someone's already, like you said, nyam and left, right? Say it's Benjamin saying nyam and left. But so that's the same with a woman, man.
These women.
You go into a shop and you want to buy a bottle of water, right? The bottle of water's got a seal on it, right? You're not going to go in there and buy the water which someone has like gone in there, drank it and put the lid back on. You don't want that shit because it's got its bacteria in it. You going to say something?
If they say if you get anything, you order anything online and the lid's been capped, right?
Yep.
Return it back because you know the reason is because you don't know what the fuck they
put in there.
You don't know what's happened to it.
Yeah, I remember as a child, maybe late 80s, early 90s, there was a couple of cases where some people were going into the supermarkets, they were unscrewing the tops of the water and putting poison in it, and some people were getting sick of it. So that's why they put them caps on the bottle. Now, the cap on the bottle of a woman is, not to get too graphic, but a hymen, you know? So once that's broken, that's like breaking the seal on the bottle. Furthermore, when you're dealing with a woman, you're supposed to have the tokens of her virginity, which is the cloth that they put in the wedding chamber bed. So that when you marry someone, you go to the wedding chamber and the man has sex with the woman, which consummates the marriage. And the word sex actually means to cut. So you cut the hymen, the woman bleeds a little bit, and those tokens are kept by the parents. So if ever anybody wanted to talk shit and say, oh, I don't like, let's say the guy gets fed up with it, he says, I don't like your daughter anymore, I want to be away from her and she's been playing a harlot, what the parents would do is they'd take the tokens of the woman's virginity and they present it before the elders, and the elders would be able to say, nah, this woman was a virgin when you took her, she's your wife, you have a duty to take care of her, you're bringing up a false charge against her saying that she's played the harlot and she hasn't. Well, in this day and age, not many women have the tokens of their virginity anymore. So a lot of these women are straight up harlots, and that ties into the curses of our nation because the scriptures say there's not supposed to be a sodomite of the sons of Israel, nor a harlot of the daughters of Israel. But a lot of our women are playing the harlot because they've been seduced by the serpent, going back to Genesis 3, and they believe in these vain and false philosophies where they say a woman can, it's a woman's right to choose. A woman can play the field, or, you know, you got these stories about a woman who's married a man, she gets bored, she divorces him and then marries some next man. It happens all the time. And if I may say this, Esau promotes that. Because if you look at Hollywood or the music industry, a lot of these celebrities, they get married, right? But a lot of them aren't marrying because they actually love their partner. They're marrying because they're there to promote divorce. So when they get married to these people, they end up divorcing them. And when people see like their celebrities who they look up to, they idolize, oh, this person got divorced, that person got divorced, I can get divorced too. That's when it causes a lot of the women to be, to take on that same kind of conduct, which is wrong. You're not supposed to be doing that according to the scriptures, because a woman is supposed to only have one husband, right? Until that man dies. When he dies, then she's loosed from her husband and she can remarry. But these women are having like 4, 5, 6 husbands. And to have a husband doesn't mean that you go into Esau's church and you stand in front of that flipping pork chop eating pastor and he says, and now I pronounce you man and wife. No, that's not how it works. Sex, according to the Bible, is marriage. But you have, it's a Saturday, right? Saturday night, a lot of these young flipping Edomite women are going to be all out there, drunk out of their minds, playing the harlot. They're going to be getting married tonight. They're going to be having sex with all these random dudes. And next week it's going to be another dude. And the week after that, another dude. So these people are marrying and they're basically committing adultery, and they don't even realize what adultery is anymore because the public fool system has taught them lies. They've taught them that, okay, marriage is when you go up in a church and you exchange rings and you basically allow the state into your relationship where the government says, okay, now you're married, you've got your legal documents. That's not what marriage is. As I said, marriage is sex, and people don't even see sex as a spiritual thing anymore. They just see it as like, oh, it's just something you do. Like you scratch your arm. No, there's a very special and spiritual significance to sex, because when you have sex with someone, you then become one flesh in the sight of the Most High. You know, the man's going to be joined unto that woman, and that's a bond which can't really be broken except by death. You know, that's how it's supposed to be. You're becoming one flesh with the person who you're sleeping with. So there's a lot to that, man, but a lot of these women, they don't know that, because they're carnal minded, and they're simple because school taught them that, okay, it's all about female empowerment, and you need to go out to work, and you need to wear the trousers in the relationship. It's all about you.
Yep.
So you women, you've had your little joyride, man. Like back in the day, you know, you hear about someone, like some youth at school, before you're allowed to drive, someone breaks into a car, they steal the car and they go for a joyride in the car. Usually they end up crashing because they don't know how to drive. That was called joyriding, right? Well, that's what you women have been doing, man. You've been joyriding for the longest. Since 1960s, when they started to really push the feminism. You've been on your joyride, man. You've had the car, you've been speeding down the highway, and guess what? Now you lost control of the car's crashed, and it's in flames, and you're there thinking, what the fuck just happened? Well, what the fuck just happened is that you were deceived by the serpent. You believed in the society more than you believed in your creator, man. And a lot of these women, they don't want to hear about no Most High, man. They want to run to all these other fucking false, vain philosophies like, you know, Buddhism and all this shit, because they don't want to deal with the fact that the Most High is a man and that he's going to judge their asses. A lot of you women are playing like Cain, man. You're trying to run from your judgment, talking shit about, oh, well, I don't believe God judges. Oh, my God doesn't judge. What the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you talking about? Who are you to turn around and say God don't judge, man? If the Most High didn't judge, there'd be no righteousness, and everything would be destroyed. Now that's why the scriptures say, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, man. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And again, as the brother said, to the world, it seems like we're taking L's. But I'll say this, man. I was thinking about this on my train ride up here. It's a blessing that the Most High has delivered me from certain women who I knew in the past, man. And I thought, you know what, man? Maybe the Most High really is dealing with me. Because if I was wicked, I'd have gotten with them people, them wicked women, and I'd have been suffering, catching hell with them to this day. But the Most High delivered me from them because it said, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Yeah. So if I was a sinner doing all kind of wickedness, I'd get on with them, because like it says, birds of a feather flock together, man. Now that's not to say that there's not going to be some righteous women, because there's brothers in the truth who have women who are conducting themselves in the right way. But the vast majority of women out there are wicked, pertaining to what King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes. You know, he out of 1,000, he found one man that was righteous, but out of the women, you could find not one out of 1,000 that was righteous. But let me just finish up on Wisdom 5, and I'm going to jump into another thing. So Wisdom 5, verse 8. What of our pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things are passed away like a shadow, as a post that hasteth by. So like, if you're on a train, right, and you're looking out the window, you might see some posts or some railings. Those things go by quick. They just whoop, they're gone. And you can't stick your head out the window and see them because you're moving so far beyond it. That's how these people's lives are going to be. Like these people who seem to be winning in the world right now, it's all going to be forgotten. Like, I'll read into it. It says, and as a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the keel in the waves. Or as when a bird hath flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air, being beaten with the stroke of her wings, and parted with the violent noise and motion of them, is passed through, and therein afterwards no sign where she went is to be found. Yep. Or as like when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parteth the air, which immediately comes together again, so that a man cannot know where it went through. That's what these people's lives are going to be likened unto. It says, even so, we in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw towards our end, and we had no sign of virtue to show, but we were consumed with our own wickedness. Yep, that's you women, man. And it applies more than just women, but I'm making this specific to women at this moment because I'm making a point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one for you. Ecclesiastes 7:26 says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands, who pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her.
That's right.
But the sinner shall be taken by her.
Beautiful. Right on the point. So if you're wicked, you'll be taken by her, but the righteous shall escape her. That's a good sign.
because I want to just make the point that it says, "Who pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her." So you don't belong to that bitch, right? You belong to the Most High. The Most High, you know, it's better to be. If God is for you, who can be against you, man?
Yep.
So the Most High claimed you away, got you out of the clutches of that evil woman.
So Wada, that's a good one, man. Very good precept. So yeah, let me read this. Reading on, it says, "For the hope of the ungodly is as like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin froth that is driven away by a storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest is passed away, and as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day." And it says, I think that's Ahab coming up. I might be wrong.
No, you're right, Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says, "But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward is with the Lord Yahushai, and the care of them is with the Most High." Like as you said, if the Most High is for you, who could be against you? So it's much better to have the love of the Most High than any of these women, man. Because at the end of the day, these women are going to get in order. They're not going to be out of order forever. So if you put yourself in order with the law, statutes, and commandments and be on good terms with the Most High, then He'll give you the desires of your heart. You've just got to be patient on this side, and as the brother said, learn to take the L's. You know, don't think like, losing is a bad thing. No, we all had to lose, man. Let me give an example. None of us started walking straight away. Like when we came out of our mother's wombs as little babies, we're lying on our back for a few months, right? Then eventually, you know, we build up our muscles a little bit and we start to crawl, right? Then eventually our legs get strong enough and we start trying to walk. I don't know of any baby that just, as soon as it came out of the womb, it started walking around. Now, no, you had to learn. So what does that mean? You have to fall down a couple of times. Sometimes the baby will take a few steps, it might trip, but does the baby stop? No, the baby gets up. The baby has that kind of determination because the baby knows, I need to walk. Shalom.
Yes, brother, shalom.
So the baby, somewhere in its subconscious, the Most High put it in the baby's mind, the baby needs to walk. So the baby's not like, oh, but I fell over yesterday, now I'm embarrassed by that. Or, no, all these people will laugh at me because I kept falling over. The baby ain't got no pride like that. So the baby's innocent. Well, it's not innocent because the wicked is changed from the room. But the baby knows, I need to walk, I need to get this done. And I'm not going to let my pride stop me from doing it. So the baby keeps trying, keeps taking those L's, keeps learning. Eventually the baby starts walking and it just becomes like second nature, right? And that's why adults are full of shit in a lot of ways, because they don't have that mindset. They don't have that pure mindset that the baby has, where the baby thinks, I need to learn this. I'm going to humble myself by falling over and getting up. Falling over, getting up. I'm humbling myself. So therefore, in the end, I'm going to walk. A lot of adults don't have that mindset. They don't want to take that L. They don't want to look bad in front of people. Like, for example, standing out here, just bare people in this park, call it a park, whatever. This heath.
You got paths over there. You got paths.
Yeah.
You got paths everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if we were in that mindset, well, oh, I don't want people to look at me bad or to think I'm stupid, or we wouldn't be out here. But we don't give a shit anymore because we're like, you know what, man, this is the will of the Most High. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 states, fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So we have to come out here, man. We can't be proud and be like, oh, but these people will laugh at us, or then people are snickering over there. No, fuck that shit, man. Who are these people anyway? If you're really in the right mind, and I'm not saying this to be proud or boastful, but if you're in your right mind and you understand this truth, you understand that these people aren't even on our level, man. The elect were the first spirits created, and if we be of the elect, Lord willing, we all are, then we're above all these people, man. And I'm not saying that out of pride, but I'm saying that just to emphasize the point that,
That's what the scripture says.
yeah, we're not on the same level as them. They're below us, right? So they're supposed to actually look up to us, but because the things have been turned upside down, the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. We're at the bottom right now.
Yeah.
So that's why they're in a position to think that they can look down on us, but really we're above them. Just like when Yahushua was on the cross, they were looking down on him, saying, since he delighted in the Most High, let the Most High take him off the cross, and then we'll believe him. That he, since he delighted in the Most High, let the Most High save him. Right? They were looking down on Yahushua, but really those people, they were of the 2/3, man. They're not of the elect, and they were looking down on the greatest, the Son of the Most High. You know, the greatest creation you could say that Yahweh ever came up with, His only begotten Son. Who are they to look down on the Lord like that? Furthermore, who are they to look down on us? So fuck these people, man. So reading on, it says, but the righteous, this is Wisdom of Solomon 5:15. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward is also with the Lord Yahushua, and the care of them is with the Most High. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord Yahushua's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. So right now, as we're out here, the Most High is covering us with his arm, man. He's protecting us against any, crazy people who might want to do us harm, because we are as sheep in the midst of wolves. There are people who do want to do us harm, but the Most High is protecting us through the Spirit. And it says, he shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. He shall put righteousness on as a breastplate, and true judgment instead of a helmet. He shall take holiness for an invisible shield. So this goes back to the armor of God, which is spoken of in Ecclesiastes 6. We opened with that. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand against the wiles of the devil. Hello. Yeah. The Holy Bible. Right.
Oh, not good news for you.
He shall take holiness for an invincible shield. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, they shall fly to the mark. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out as a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. So I believe that's talking about when the missiles start flying, these people are going to get destroyed. There's going to be huge tidal waves, like tsunamis, all kinds of shit, and all the wicked are going to get destroyed. And at the same time, they're going to be seeing the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and they're going to be seeing the elect being beamed up out of the tribulation. So it's beautiful, man. Wisdom 5 is a beautiful chapter. So let's read this last verse. It says, yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, and like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. Salakia. So that's that on that. And I want to talk about something else that the brother is saying. You brought out earlier that Esau's got the world on lease at the moment, right? So this is his time to rule, but he doesn't own this earth. And Esau will he'll make you believe that he owns everything, but Esau doesn't own this earth. So I want to bring out a parable on that, right? This is Luke. Where do we start? Bear with me while I find it.
Right.
I think it's Luke 20 I want. Yeah, this is what I want. Luke 20, starting from Luke 20 verse 9. Right. No, verse 8. And Yahushua said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. You know, let me start from 20, because let me get into the context. Luke 20, verse 1. And it came to pass that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel, the chief priests and scribes came upon him with the elders, and spake unto him, saying, tell us, by what authority dost thou these things? Or who is he that gave thee this authority? And he answered and said unto them, I will also ask you of one thing, and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? And they reasoned within themselves, saying, if we shall say from heaven, he will say, why then believe ye not him? And if we say of men, all the people will stone us, for they be persuaded that John was a prophet. And they answered that they could not tell whence it was. And Yahushua said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. Then began he to speak to the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, and let it forth to husbandmen, and went into a far country for a long time. And at the season he sent a servant to the husbandman that they should give him of the fruit of the vineyard or the vineyard, but the husbandman beat him and sent him away empty. Right? So basically there was a man who owned a vineyard, and he went away on a long journey, and he set up some people to look after the vineyard while he was away. While he was away, he sent a servant to receive what was the masters of the vineyard, and they beat the servant and sent him away, right? So it says, in the next verse, verse 11, and again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and entreated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And again he sent a third, and they wounded him also, and cast him out. Then said the Lord of the vineyard, what shall I do? I will send my beloved son. It may be that they will reverence him when they see him. Hi, you having a good photo op? Yeah, put it on your mantelpiece. You're going into slavery. Right, so it says, and again he sent a third, and they wounded him also and cast him out. Then said the Lord of the vineyard, what shall I do? I will send my beloved son. It may be that they will reverence him when they see him. But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. What therefore shall the Lord of this vineyard do unto them? Right? So basically that's a parable of Yahweh Shai. You know, the vineyard is the earth. Esau's got temporary rule of this earth, right? But Esau's acting like this is his. He's acting like he owns it. So when the master of the vineyard sent his servants, that's likened unto the Most High sending his prophets. So the prophets are coming and they're beating the prophets and treating them shamefully and casting them out, and not and they're keeping the stolen goods of the vineyard. Eventually the Lord thought, you know what, man, I'm going to send my son into the vineyard. Maybe that they will reverence him. But what did they do? They took him and they killed him, just like they did Yahweh Shai. So it says, what shall then the master of that vineyard do? So let's read it. It says, he shall come and destroy these husbandmen, and shall give the vineyard to others. And when they heard of it, they said, God forbid. You know? So basically, again, that's like unto the 2/3 of our people as well, who are in positions of authority, and they're basically joined with the beast, and they're enjoying their moment of rulership with the beast. They're going to be taken out of their position when the Most High comes and destroys Esau. You know, they're going to go back to the bottom, and the elect are going to be set up, which is going to be the government of the kingdom to come. So that's just a quick parable to touch upon what the brother was saying about how Esau's got this world on lease. But when you go into the public full system, you're being taught that, oh, the world has always been Esau's. Like, you know, Esau is everybody. He was the Egyptians, he was the Babylonians, he was even the Israelites. You know, you watch films like Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, they'd have you believe that Esau were the Israelites. So you're looking and thinking, well, Esau's always been in rulership, when that's not actually the case. Esau's had his time to rule, he's had kingdoms, and they've fallen, and he's come back into power. You know, they had the Greek Empire, they had the Roman Empire, they fell out of their power, and I think they call it the Byzantine Empire, which they call the backwards Byzantine Empire. It wasn't backwards at all, that was the Holy Roman Empire, where Jake was ruling, which they also call the Dark Ages. Like, they try to claim that, okay, we had an intellectual civilization, and for all of a sudden, for like 1,000 years, there's just complete darkness where people forgot how to read, write, and all this kind of shit. That's what they have you believe in school, man. Oh, the Dark Ages. Then they have the Renaissance, which means rebirth, which is when Esau came back into power, which was around the 1600s, I believe. And they've been ruling ever since then. And Esau's inward thought is that his house is going to continue forever, but it's not. And Esau sees the signs that his end is drawing nigh, and that's why he's hastening to try and bring about his new world order. To be honest, I'll say this, we are in the new world order already. We're already in it, man. It's just through the course of gradualism, people haven't realized just how far into the new world order we actually are. We're at the end of this thing, man. Esau's final move is to cull the population and microchip everybody. And that's what we're seeing right now with this serpent's juice. There's more people dying than they have you know. Like I posted a video in the chat the other day about, what do they call him? A guy who works at a funeral home, and he was talking about how he's seen a lot of people dying, but it's not the thing that they're dying of, it's the serpent's juice. People who are taking the serpent's juice are dropping dead, and they're reporting these cases as the C19 thing. But people who just follow mainstream news, they don't know this stuff. If you're just reading your Sun newspaper or the Daily Telegraph and you're watching Sky News, you're not going to know this. So you're going to be thinking, oh, all these people are dropping dead because they've got the C19, but it's not the case. Yeah. You know? And when you try and bring this out on the social media, they'll block your videos, they'll censor you from their platforms, because Esau's trying to control the narrative, which is what he's always done. But the real narrative is this. There's a Klaus Schwab, whatever, he wants his great reset. The elites want their great reset, and in order to do their great reset, that means they're culling off a huge percentage of the population.
Baba Kosha, don't let me interfere. You said about that article that the man brought out. Don't forget about that part when they offered him 85,000 to keep quiet.
Yeah.
Right? Don't forget that part, brother.
That's beautiful.
Right?
I'll bring this out. I was watching, it's funny because I was watching RT, because I've got subscription to that. When I see the news come up, I was watching it.
Yeah.
And I noticed there's one woman on RT. Can't stand this bitch. I think her name's Polly or something like that. And she was reporting on an article which I was mentioning to the brother the other day after camp, where Nicki Minaj, the singer, she's an Israelite, but you know she ain't in the truth. But she's an Israelite. She put a post on Twitter saying that her cousin had taken the serpent's juice and that he was suffering from problems with his testicles and infertility. Now that's a known side effect of taking the serpent's juice, right? Because that's exactly what Bill Gates wanted. If you go back to his TED talk, what did he say? We can control the population through using these things, and we can help reduce the population. So there's two ways to reduce the population. You can kill the people that already exist, or you can prevent them from having children by sterilizing them. So that's what they're doing. That's why a lot of these women who have taken the serpent's juice, they're having trouble with their menstrual cycles. Some women are having 6 periods in a month. So if they're all constantly bleeding, they can't hold no child in their womb. They can't bear a child, so they're infertile. Furthermore, I've said this a number of times. If you're a man that's taking the serpent's juice, it destroys your sperm. So you still have sperm cells, but the part of the sperm which actually fertilizes the egg is no longer there. So when you have sex with your wife and you think that you're impregnating her, the sperm will enter into the egg, but it's not no child's gonna be born from that because the part which fertilizes the egg is no longer functioning. Furthermore, that sperm becomes weaponized. So if you're a man that's taken a serpent's juice and you're dealing with a woman who hasn't, you can actually sterilize that woman by having sex with her. So Esau's very cunning, and you've got to remember, what did it say about Esau? What did it say about, let me get it, man. It said about Esau in Genesis 25.
And why is it looking, brother? They're even so wicked that they're doing it to the kids too.
That's
right.
Right.
So the kids can't even, when they get older, right, 4 or 5 years later, they can't even have children.
And that's right.
You see?
And
wicked,
Esau's
brother.
Smart. That's why he wants to inject the children now, because
right.
if he does that,
yes,
people aren't going to discover that these children are infertile.
Right.
Maybe not, like if the child's like 10 years old, the child might not start really dealing with women until it's like 17 or 18 or 20. So it might be a good 8 years before you even realize that child has been sterilized. So Esau's doing it quick, and that's why he's doing this quick too, because once people start dropping dead, which they're gonna, that's when people are gonna start asking questions. That's why Esau's hastening to get as many people to take the serpent's juice before people start dropping dead on mass scale. Because if people have already taken it, it's gonna be too late for them. So that's what Esau's trying to do, he's trying to rush his agenda. So going back to Genesis 25, it says, it describes Esau. It says, Genesis 25:27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Now what is a cunning hunter? A cunning hunter is someone who is very crafty in setting traps. Very crafty in setting traps for his prey. And Esau has set traps for the people. The people don't realize that the government is actually at war with them. they're thinking it's all about, oh, our troops are pulled out of Afghanistan and all this kind of shit. Well, you don't realise that the American government has already been declaring the war on their own people for the longest. That's why they see their citizens as domestic terrorists, because the government isn't working for the people, it's always been working against the people. But they've been faking the funk, trying to be like, oh yeah, we're for the people, but they've never been for the people, they're for themselves in their own New World Order agenda. And this ain't a game, man, and this isn't no conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy fact.
Yeah.
So, what was I talking about before I got onto that? Yeah, RT. So there's a stupid woman on RT, I can't stand this stupid ass, some Edomite woman. Now, Nicki Minaj's cousin said that the story is that I think he's having fertility problems and his testicles are shrunk. And on RT, they made a like jokey video about it, saying, "Oh, Nicki Minaj has been banned from Twitter for talking about her cousin whose testicles shrunk." And I had this stupid, like flipping, you remember Lauren and Hardy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or what's that guy used to be called?
Benny
Hill.
Oh yeah,
in
Benny
the
Hill.
80s,
Yeah.
there's that guy Benny Hill. You know, they play that stupid music with his running man.
Yeah.
That stupid music.
Yeah.
They put that music behind the video.
All right.
Now, if you're into if you know about editing or cinematography or whatever, you'll understand that they do this for a reason. So they had this woman talking about, okay, Nicki Minaj has been banned for Twitter because she made a post about her cousin who'd taken the serpent's juice and his testicles are shrunk. But they played this stupid comical music behind it.
Yeah.
And they were playing it as if, oh, Nicki Minaj she's lost her mind. She's talking about her cousin's testicles, and now she's been banned on Twitter. They weren't really addressing the core of the issue, and basically that stupid woman, she was saying, yeah, and the thing is safe. You need to take it. You know, there's no need to worry. She was saying that, and it's later that night that I watched that thing about the guy who works at the funeral home, and he was saying RT offered him 85,000 to not say it's the...
To hush him, basically, hush him.
To hush him, hush money. That was RT, Russia Today, right? So RT has they do bring out some good things from time to time, but you've got to remember, all these mainstream media channels are owned by the elites, and they're going to push that agenda, man. So they're pushing for people to take the thing. So that's the point, man. I mean, and RT is not alternative media. It will have you think that, okay, they're bringing out more than mainstream, but it's still controlled. So you really need to be looking on places like BitChute or other places that aren't really controlled. And that's the funny thing, right? Because Twitter banned Nicki Minaj for questioning the serpent's juice, but yet Twitter don't ban porn. You know, you got these Instagram thoughts that are on Twitter and they're posting pornographic content on there, that don't get blocked. So what's going on? You know, what the fuck's going on? And again, it shows you, but like all things, like, I was going to say with the children as well. So they've got the sterilisation thing going on for the children, but also that's why they promote LGBTQ to children so much, because if the children growing up thinking, well, it's okay for me to be a boy and to have a husband, and for me to be a woman and to have a wife, those children, they're not going to be recreated. You know, because if a man lied with a man, you're not going to get no child from that. If a woman's lying with a woman, you're not going to get no children from that. So this whole LGBTQ acceptance thing has also ties into the larger picture of the depopulation agenda. Again, this thing ain't hard, man. It's not rocket science to connect the dots. You got something?
Yeah, I got something. Ephesians 5:40 says, wherefore he saith, awake, that thou that sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Yahweh Mashiach shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
That's right, the days are indeed evil. And that's the thing, a lot of people who are taking this serpent's juice, the reason why they're taking it is because they're trying to escape from reality. They've spent a year, or nearly 2 years now, of this C-19 thing scaring the hell